What's up, everyone, and welcome into episode number 476, where it is my honor and privilege to introduce a special guest joining this episode, and that is Oakland men's basketball player Isaac Garrett. How are you doing, Isaac?
Good. Having a good one.
Good. Glad you were able to join. I know that your basically practice before a little break is almost over. I know that your last day is tomorrow, so how's things been going so far at Oakland?
Yeah, we've had a great summer so far. So we got here June 24th and got to meet all the guys and, really started to gel as a group, and we've been getting after it all summer. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're one of the new guys there, quote unquote, the transfers. How has it been since you arrived at Oakland, getting to know obviously your new teammates and then obviously kind of getting to know Coach Kampe, the other coaches, a little bit more? I'm sure you probably talked to Coach Kampe before coming to Oakland.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's always a good experience when, maybe not always a good experience, hopefully, but it's always a interesting experience when you are showing up on a new team and getting to meet new guys, new players, new coaches, new system. Everything is new. So it's always fun. I'm getting to meet new personalities and new ways of doing things, and it's gone good this year. Meeting all the coaches. I had a really good relationship with Coach Smitty, who recruited me the most. And then meeting Bobby and Trey and Colin and all the managers, Wiz and Cam, all of them, has been a lot of fun. And yeah, it's definitely been a good experience so far.
Which is obviously great to hear, but this isn't super close to your home. You're actually from Utah. You played at Snow College. We'll talk a little bit about Snow College here shortly, but you're now playing in Michigan, which I think is one interesting because your favorite athlete is an athlete that won a national championship in East Lansing in 1979 that played for Michigan State, Irvin Magic Johnson. How in the world do you become an Irvin Magic Johnson fan, not only from Utah, but I feel like if you ask a lot of college athletes their favorite athletes, players now, they're going to say, like, especially basketball players, they're going to say, like, LeBron, maybe like MJ, I don't know, Allen Iverson. Like, they're not going to go all the way back to 1979. So how did that whole thing come to be?
Yeah, so there's a lot of professional players that have gotten me into the game. Once I was into basketball, playing basketball and understanding basketball and really getting to know the world and the history, Magic was someone who I gravitated towards right away. My stepfather introduced me to him, and he's like, man, you got to watch clip. He grew up in that era, and he was from LA, so he was all in on Magic, and he's like, man, you got to watch the way this dude plays and the way he's smiling like every minute he's on the court playing. And so I watched mixtapes, staying up late, watching Magic mixtapes, and I'm like, man, this guy's big. He's running with the ball. He's passing. He's being flashy and fun and elevating his teammates, and I just thought that was really cool. And so yeah, he's definitely been one of the players that I've looked up to and shaped my game after, I would say.
Yeah, and obviously I wasn't alive when he was playing either, but one thing you know about Irvin is not only like how much he knew about basketball, but how much he was able to like run a team. And he was also part of a national championship game that is the most watched ever. Like, it's not even close, which is crazy for 1979, but just kind of the way he had his play style, just the way that like he was able to dish the ball, just the way that he was able to kind of attack the other team. Was he someone that you tried to kind of like model your game or quote unquote replicate a little bit once you kind of started to understand basketball a little bit more?
Yes, absolutely. He's one of a few guys that I definitely took some things from. And definitely you could see that growing up. I would try to make some passes, and I would make some passes that were exactly like the passes he was making. I've noticed as I've come up in the college basketball world, some of those passes don't work in today's game like they might have in the 80s, and how they worked when I was in middle school, elementary school, early high school. Um, but definitely developing my vision of the court and being able to find my teammates. I don't know what I like doing more, dunking on someone or setting up my teammate nice. I really like setting my boys up with style. So he's definitely someone I've taken stuff away from. His full court passes, I just remember seeing clips of him full court bounce passes with the one arm just completely extended and just little shovel passes all the time. So yeah, definitely someone I took stuff from.
Can you do that now at Oakland, or does Kampe like tell you like, okay, let's not do that stuff necessarily?
As long as I'm not turning it over, I can do whatever I want. As long as I'm not turning it over. I've had a couple this summer. My assist to turnover ratio is really good right now, but there's been a couple. I can think of two this summer, which is not bad. Two out of the whole summer, but it's been like, I don't know if that one was there. So yeah, as long as I'm making passes and setting up my boys, I can have the freedom to do that.
Absolutely, which is obviously like what you want as a player, to have that freedom to be able to take care of the ball, to kind of do what you want. But you also did mention like you don't know if getting the ball to the open guys or dunking on a guy is your most favorite. In my opinion, I think dunking on a guy is just awesome. That's one thing that you get on ESPN Top 10. That's one thing you get those posters, you get those pictures of, and it has to be such a cool feeling, not only to do it, but then see the picture afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like dunking on people. It's probably a hair above making a flashy pass to a teammate, but yeah, they're pretty close.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But you mentioned about like kind of like learning a little bit about the game, how maybe like towards the end of your high school year, you kind of realized that like there's some passes you can do that Irvin did, some passes that you did not. When did you really kind of evolve into being quote unquote like your own player, kind of like your own style? Like when did you kind of figure that out? And then when did you kind of like obviously grow into that, but then kind of realize like, hey, this style works in college?
Yeah, I would say since my skills became legitimate, like even low level, but legitimate, like being able to handle the ball and pass the ball and shoot the ball, even it doesn't not at a high level, but at a low level, maybe that's sixth grade, maybe, let's just say. Since that point, I have been my own player. My style just comes from a melting pot of, I don't know, I'd say 5 or 6 guys maybe that I just really liked how they played, and I just watching them and combining stuff that they do with other people, and just kind of evolved from there. And when it got to college, I've always had to be I've always had to be reeled in. I've never had to been pushed. I've always had to be held back by coaches, because I especially in high school, I would say sophomore year, and I mean junior and senior year too, but I just turned it over a lot, because I was trying to do all this fun stuff, and so I've always had to be reeled in, and like you got to settle down and just be a little more composed. But I've always been kind of my own player.
Okay. Yeah, which makes complete sense. But obviously, kind of being reeled in a little bit, there's obviously talent there. It was just about like making the right plays, making the right decisions, which obviously throughout your career you kind of have grown to do, which it seems like you're doing extremely well so far at Oakland. Hopefully you continue to do so. But because that talent was there, was it always kind of your goal to be a college basketball player? Was that something that you kind of dreamed of? Like, was it like, hey, like if I get this opportunity, I'm going to go? Or was it more kind of a little bit later than you thought maybe possible playing?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in my early years in elementary school, I was like, yeah, like let's go to the NBA. Let's just do that because that's super easy to do. Let's just do that and have that be the game plan, and you'll make millions of dollars, and it's easy. I mean, obviously, you grow up and you understand things better. And I was very honest about the chances of stuff like that happening. But I was like, yeah, let's play this game and have fun with it and work hard at it and see what happens. And then my AAU coach found me, and he saw the talent. He's the first one who really saw it. I was like, yeah, no, this guy can go play at a high level in college. And he sat me and my parents down in a way, and it was just like, if you're gonna do this, you gotta do this. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So really started going for it about sophomore year, I'd say.
Do you think like every kind of college basketball player, kind of college athlete overall, kind of needs that one coach that really just like instills like that belief, like you can be that good, like you are that good, you have that possibility of being there? Because it truly seems like your AAU coach was that coach for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's definitely a boost, and the more I realize and the more I have some hindsight, like, you don't know what it takes to play college basketball. You don't know how good those guys are if you think that you could think they're better than they are. Like, even myself, like, coming here, I have an interesting time accepting things, and I've come to the conclusion, like, I've thought my whole life, man, like, the Division 1 level, I don't know if I can ever play there one day. I hope I can. And now that I'm here, I'm like, no, I can do this. Like, I can be a force playing like Division 1 basketball. And so it's interesting just how important it is to have somebody believe in you and know what that level is, and know that they think that you can be that level one day.
Yeah, like they believe in you, like they want to give you the chance, they want you to come to obviously Oakland. I know you also visited Florida State. I know California, I believe, was also a part of it as well. Just kind of having those coaches that obviously see in you that D1 level talent.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a good recruiting season for me coming out of snow. But yeah, I mean, having those guys believe that I can play at the high major level was definitely like, wow, like this is what I've been working for. Because a lot of times you're working, you're grinding, and it's hard. Sometimes you're like, you come home and you're like, what am I busting my butt for right now? Especially in the summertime, like, you're just like, man, I just want to go sit by the pool. But no, you're busting your butt for March. Like, you're doing this for a reason, and you might forget it, but you're gonna remember it once it happens. So, um, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, having those high major coaches believe in you, like Mark Madsen at Cal, he won 2 championships with the Lakers, and Coach Laux at FSU won a championship with the Warriors as an assistant coach, and those guys know what's up. Like, they really do. And the coaches at Oakland, they know what's up. Camp's had a million dudes come through his program, and he knows what's up. So, yeah, having those guys believe in you is definitely a boost.
Yeah, and then obviously you have Coach Kampe having probably one of the greatest and craziest upsets a couple of years ago in March Madness, and you talk about how you're putting so much time to get to that opportunity to play in March, to compete in March, and while you might go through some ups and downs throughout that time, I feel like one thing about JUCO athletes, which was what Snow College was, is a JUCO school. You have to almost love playing basketball and almost love playing that kind of grind a little bit in order to go through JUCO. Like, because JUCO, obviously, you don't have like the things that you do at Oakland. Like, while Snow probably is a nice school, I've never been to Snow. Oakland's probably, if I would have to guess, a little bit nicer facilities. You get a little bit nicer like stuff.
Yeah, we
Like you
got a
have
Chick-fil-A
all
in
the
Rochester Hills. We ain't got a Chick-fil-A in from Utah.
yeah, no, absolutely. So you have all these amenities to you now at Oakland. What was it like being a JUCO athlete at Snow College? Because Snow College wasn't known for basketball; it was more known for football. Like, why did you end up going to a school that was more of a football school before it ended up turning into a basketball school once you started playing there and all the other guys as well?
Yeah, it absolutely. It was definitely a football school when I was a senior in high school, and it is definitely a basketball school now. And that's thanks to myself and my teammates and coaches and staff at Snow. But yeah, no, Snow, honestly, I'm hoping to have a really amazing year this year at Oakland, and I am so far. If it's half as good as my experience at Snow, I will be ecstatic. My 2 years at Snow were amazing. You ask any of the guys that were on my team, especially this last year, like, they'd say the same thing. Like, I will never forget those 2 years at Snow. Being a JUCO athlete is definitely a grind, though. Like, it's not the same. Those long bus trips, I mean, the JUCO guys know, and we got a lot of JUCO guys on this Oakland team, and they know. They know what it is, what it takes, and I'm really thankful for that experience because I came here in the summer, and the first day we were working the high school camp, and Colin, our director of basketball operations, brought Olive Garden for everybody, and I'm like, man, I didn't know they were feeding us like this. Like, that's awesome. And we always have food after practices and stuff like that, and JUCO is definitely a grind, but I think it's all for the better.
Yeah, and those long bus rides are times for you to obviously get closer with your teammates. I'm sure you probably have a ton of different stories from car rides, from trips. Like at Snow College, I believe it was your sophomore year, you guys were number one in the country for JUCO. Like there has to be some pride to have in you and obviously your teammates, the coaches, to turn it into a basketball school, to kind of have the success that you guys have, but also still have the stories from it as well that you can obviously still stay in contact with them, then also have similar experiences with other JUCO athletes that are now at Oakland.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I talk to some of my guys every day, different guys every day from Snow, and I fly back Friday morning. I'll probably be out there the next Friday running, conditioning with those guys during practice. But those experiences definitely, and it seems like it's maybe not across the board, but one of my teammates, Coy, point guard from Panola, he said, "Man, those 2 years were awesome. Like some of the best times. Like, and it's interesting. How can something that is such a grind and such a hassle and sometimes just such a burden, like be such an amazing experience?" And I just think that's interesting, something to think about. So yeah, definitely a special place in my heart for Snow.
I think it has a little bit to do with adversity, kind of just the grind, kind of just getting down to the brass tacks of it's basketball, right? Like you have to, like I said earlier, you have to love it. Like I'm sure probably when you were younger with AAU, you probably traveled all over the place, went to so many different tournaments. It might have been more of quote unquote like AAU, but like obviously with more talent than maybe AAU, but like it's probably more of kind of back to like let's just play basketball and let's just do something we love. And I think that is probably one reason why maybe JUCO is something that you enjoyed so much, is that you didn't have all these flashy things. You're able to just go play basketball and have fun with guys.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's all a sacrifice for basketball, and so that's definitely a part of it. And yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and obviously now it's helped you get to Oakland, helped you get to D1 basketball in the Horizon League, which is obviously a great league. You have a historical coach, one of my favorite coaches in the country. I love Coach Kampe, such a great guy, great coach. I can talk as much about Coach Kampe as I want, but I won't go too much into him. But one thing about Oakland, especially recently, is the success of forwards that they've had. Trey Townsend, Alan McCabe, two examples of that. Is that level of success having those kind of forwards? Obviously, they might be a different play style. They might be different players than you. But is that one of the big reasons why you end up playing at Oakland? Obviously, I know you talked about the coach having kind of that relationship with that coach, but having a team that has such success with forwards, that has to be something that you also think about and something that interests you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I definitely I've never met McCabe, but I got the chance to play with Trey and Jack and DQ at pickup the other day. I definitely look up to those two guys, Trey and McCabe, just based off what they were able to accomplish here and how it relates to me. Those two are definitely good examples for me. And I mean, Trey is somebody who people hold really highly around here in Mr. Oakland. So it was a lot of fun to be able to play with those guys, and definitely just the idea of what camp can do with that position. Because a lot of times, in college basketball, that's a position that is, um, it's not what people are seeing. And Trey was one of those dudes that was seeing, like he was killing it at that spot, that four, that three, kind of that mid post area. So yeah, definitely look up to those two guys for what they were able to do and what I'm looking to do.
What was it like running hoops with them for a little bit? Like, how competitive does it get when you have those guys back? Is it more like, obviously, you know a little bit about them. Is it like really competitive? Is it just kind of fun? Like, what's it running like hoops with them?
You know, they are all. DQ is a great player. Jack is a great player. Trey is obviously a really great player. I don't want to get into it too much, but it was not competitive. It was supposed to be, and they were trying, but I think me and my boys we won 6 games to 1. But no, definitely it was good runs, and Jack was hitting some tough ones and showing us what I've never seen that type of thing in person. But yeah, definitely, no, they didn't stand a chance against us, but maybe they're in their they're getting ready for their pro seasons and whatever they're doing. So they haven't been playing basketball conditioning.
Yeah.
I did say they haven't been conditioning like we have. So maybe that was part of it. But yeah, no, those are all great players, and it was a lot of fun to play with them.
Yeah, it has to be a little bit different seeing Jack Olke just chuck up shots and somehow go in. Like that game against Kentucky, it was unbelievable. And obviously, he's very well known for that. Kampe's very well known for that. But another thing that Kampe's very well known for, and something that's probably quite a bit different for you, maybe a little bit easier now that you've kind of gone through summer, is that Oakland runs a zone. You don't see very many teams run a zone defense anymore. What has it been like learning kind of the zone, playing that type of defense? I know that yesterday in a video, Coach Kampe talked a little bit about you. I think it's a great video for anyone that ever wants to listen to it. He's just still kind of trying to figure out where to put you in that zone. Like, how fun? Is it fun playing the zone? Is it different? Like, where are you at with the zone at Oakland?
Yeah, it's beginning to be fun, I would say, but you know, um, I actually played against the zone. I honestly don't know the zones well enough to say this, but I would say I played against a zone that was also funky. In junior college, there was a team in our conference who played a zone like that, and we chopped it up every time. Um, so I had some like hesitations with the zone in that sense, but you have no other choice. Well, I guess you do have other choices, but the best choice for you when you're playing basketball on a team all the time is to buy into whatever the coaches are telling you, no matter what you think. There's 0 point in you trying to push a different way. You just got to buy in. So thinking about laying on my bed at night, thinking to myself, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna do this all the way. I'm gonna listen to everything they're saying, and it was tough. First 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it looked terrible, in my opinion. And I'm sure Camp would say the same thing. It looked terrible. And we had one practice where it kind of just flipped a switch. We realized one key to the zone, and it fixed like 4 different things. And now it's beginning to be like, oh, okay, yeah, this can be dangerous. We can do this and this. So yeah, it's definitely coming along. Coaches are saying it's coming along a little bit better than it did last year. I wasn't here to look at last year how it was coming along, but yeah, definitely building it, and should be a monster for us.
Yeah, in the zone, one thing that is important is, like you said, doing your job, but also having that communication as well. And it's not your typical zone; it's a little wonky as well. So, like you see, kind of like Syracuse back in Bayheim days, like that was kind of your typical zone, but they had really long guards. They didn't necessarily have the best scoring shooting team, but like when you play zone and someone can't hit shots, it doesn't necessarily matter. But it's a little bit of a wonky zone. I know that Coach Kampe, it seemed like last year, kept talking about we're getting closer, it's getting a little bit better. And I think one thing about Oakland that makes it so unique is, one, not only playing that zone, but also, like you said, Coach Kampe allows you guys to play your style. And one thing about basketball nowadays is you're starting to see players at the 4 and 5 start to pop out a little bit more. And you don't have that typical center anymore. And that's kind of your style. Like, you have the ability to pop out, hit some threes. Just for anyone that's listening that hasn't seen your film or wants to know, what is Isaac going to be like at Oakland? Like, talk a little bit about kind of like the player Oakland is getting and how you can like have a little bit of pick and pop game.
Yeah, I would say the one word I use to describe my game is versatile. So, um, you know, I'll be doing a lot of stuff in the mid post, stuff like that. I assume, we haven't put everything in, but you know, just being able to play multiple spots and always being a threat, and I'm working. I shoot a lot of threes every week. I get them up on my own personal time. So I'm trying to improve that aspect of my game so I can shoot a good percentage this year is something I'm definitely aiming towards. You know, if I can knock him. Camp said it in the video, and as much as I was like, he is right. I think I can shoot it, and I knock him down. I can knock him down sometimes. That's exactly where I'm at. I would say 50% of that is skill, and I'd say 50% of that is my mental side with shooting the three. I just gotta let it fly. Just gotta let it fly. But continuing to work on that will definitely open up my doors to being even more versatile because I believe I see the floor very, very well. I can handle the ball from my height. I can rebound and push. I can do a lot of different things. So just being able to pick apart defenses with that ability is something that I'm proud of.
And Coach Kampe talked a little bit about that as well. One thing about versatility is that it's important, but he also talked about how your intelligence and your understanding of the game makes you a special player. When you hear like your coach kind of say that, he also did talked about how you're one of the highest rated recruits he's ever gotten, which probably makes you feel good as well. But like, that's just such a glowing review, in my opinion. Like, that has to give you confidence knowing that, like, not only like you have the capability of playing out there, but like you understand and you probably have put so much time into understanding the little things about basketball that makes you that quote unquote special player.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think about that. I think about where I get that from. And honestly, I can't answer that. I don't know if I was born with it. I don't know if watching the players I watched growing up had something to do with it. I think it definitely has something to do with it, but I don't know. I don't know how other people think, so it's hard to dictate and compare. But just seeing little things in the game and thinking about them and breaking them down with coaches is something I like to do. And discussing, like today at practice with Coach Trey, we were doing some pick and roll stuff, and we were talking about footwork and it was just interesting. I was like, well, why don't we open up this way? And he's like, well, I mean, you can, but you open up this way, then they get this angle. And, it's just a lot of interesting nuances that I find fascinating in the game. And they're fun to explore and fun to talk about and fun to take advantage of understanding those things.
Yeah, it's a little bit about the minute details that really can make a difference in a game because if you notice one person's leaning one way and you have someone cutting, like, it might not necessarily look open, but it might end up being open. There's obviously a ton more that kind of goes into that. That's just kind of one quick, simple answer. It might not even be necessarily right, but like just kind of those little minute details that you look for that makes the game a little bit easier on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely exploring them is obviously a lot of fun, as I mentioned, and different coaches have different ones. They can help you see the game in a different way, and that's been something that's a lot of fun. And I like to pick and choose from coaches what they say, what they like and don't like, and kind of mash them together and just play that way. And you can see what works. Basically, throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. So, yeah.
Exactly, and also what works for you as well, because there might be little things here and there that say, hey, we like this, but part of your game isn't necessarily that, so then you can go back and say, hey, what about we try this? There's that little compromise as well, and there comes the versatility. There comes being able to play the 4, being able to play the 5, being able to pass the ball, being able to use your vision, being able to dribble the ball a little bit, just kind of the overall growth of that 4 or 5 position in basketball is really interesting because
Hmm.
there's not that quote unquote true down low center anymore. Like you have to kind of be in that spot in order to play the 4 and the 5.
Hmm. Yeah, that position is interesting. Basketball's always changing. It changes slowly. Um, it goes in phases, but yeah, definitely the time of basketball right now is the stretch 4. Um, it's a time for that position to shine. It's always the time for a point guard to shine. But yeah, being versatile out there is becoming a key to the game and a key to playing it at a high level, and achieving high levels in a career. Um, you got to mold your game to what the game is asking of people right now, and so it's asking for everyone to hit threes. And there's definitely ways around that, and you don't have to play like that all the time, but if you can, it just opens everything up.
Yeah, and obviously with spacing stuff like that, you don't want teams to pack the paint and then force your non-shooters to shoot on the outside. Like that's not going to be a recipe for success either for you guys.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you got to have people taking the shots that are high percentage for them, and the players need to be working on um, the shots that are high percentage for them, and also be expanding their game into areas that are not so high percentage for them right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then it comes like you talked about the mental part of it as well. Like there's some great shooters that just go on slumps and mentally where are they at? Like sometimes some people might hate this idea, but just continue to shoot. And some people are a little bit afraid of seeing that, like if they're 0 for 4, 0 for 5, like they don't want to get to 0 for 10, 0 for 11, 0 for 12. Obviously, like if you get there, there's obviously probably some frustration in that, but like you've gotten there because of that belief, because of that mental side. And I feel like that's one thing that you talked a little bit about of how you've become better at the 3, but how it's still 50-50 where you're like, I need to become stronger. I just need to let it go. I just don't need to think about that I'm going to miss because if you think you're going to miss, you're going to miss every single time.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and I shot a pretty good percentage my freshman year, comparatively to what I'm able to do. I think I was 33 or 34% on a low volume, just hitting open ones. But then my second year, I shot mid 20s, maybe 24, 25, um, largely because the first half of the season, I took one or two threes a game, and I went 0 for 1 or 2 for like 11 games. And when you go 0 for 1 or 2 for 11 games, you're 0 and 22 on the season.
Yeah.
So those shots weren't killing us in the game because I only took one or two, and it was a good shot. And then, something flipped. I just was like, screw it. I shot 9 threes in a game. I made 5. Um, and then after that, I was back to shooting 1 for 2, 1 for 3, 2 for 3, stuff like that. So um, it's just an interesting mind game that I'm exploring with um, shooting the 3, especially with coaches who have certain opinions and want you to do certain things. So yeah, definitely another area of the game that I'm exploring right now.
Yeah, and the nice thing about Coach Kampe is he likes guys that can shoot the 3 a little bit. He allows guys that can make the 3 to shoot the 3. And just what overall is it like playing for Coach Kampe? Obviously, you get to kind of get the perspective of being a player of his. From my perspective, I'm just a fan watching. So it's probably like, is it quite different playing for Coach Kampe, or do you kind of see the Coach Kampe in practice what he's on like the sidelines?
I watched a lot of Oakland games, and he seemed pretty. I don't know. Maybe the camera wasn't looking. He was a pretty mellow guy on the sidelines. His coaching style is something different than I've ever had before, um, and it was a really quick adjustment. Um, but, he's very intense in practice, very tuned into the details, which is important, and it's just a very intense style of coaching that is that brings a lot out of people, I think. Certain people more than others, but he knows what he wants, and he knows from what people he wants different things, and he wants you to show what game you've got and what you can do for this team and the program, and that's been good for myself. Just exploring different areas, playing my game, and having him understand my game more and more, and understanding what piece of the puzzle I'm going to fill in.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. And another thing about Coach Kampe is he loves the idea of a very, very difficult non-conference schedule to obviously prepare you guys for the Horizon League, prepare you guys for the Horizon League tournament for a possible run in March or a March appearance. You guys get to play Michigan State this year. You also get to play other top teams. I think I saw like Houston. I think I saw a couple other teams. Like you're getting to play some of the best teams in the country. How excited are you to be able to play teams like Michigan State, especially because your favorite athlete is Irvin Magic Johnson, but also being able to play some of the best teams in the country? Like it's not like you're going to be playing some low-level D1 teams. You're going to be playing the Big Ten teams. You're going to be playing teams that are in March every single year.
Yeah, I know. We open the season with first game is Michigan,
Yeah.
and then Houston and Purdue, and we're going into those games, all three of those games, to win those games. Those are games that are winnable. Um, I think that it's stupid to go into those games thinking we're here to get better and to only get better. You're always going in to get better, but we're here to get better and learn. No, we're going in there to win, no matter who we're playing, where we're playing, and that's something we're coming to the conclusion as a team. We're playing everybody to win. If we're playing, we could play a YMCA sixth grade team. We're in there to win, and we can play Houston and be in there to win. So we're really excited to open up with those three teams and try to get some wins.
Because what's the point of going into the game if you don't believe you can win? If you don't believe you can win the game, then why even play it?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going in there to win.
Yeah, no, which is obviously a great mindset. I know I've taken quite a bit of your time, so I'm going to really kind of wrap up with two quick questions. Obviously, with summer kind of wrapping up, with you coming back in a few weeks, that's when things are going to kind of start to probably hit you a little bit like, hey, the season's ready, like the season's here, like we can play games in like a month or two. What are some of the things you're looking forward to the most this year and the next couple of years at Oakland?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to competing at a high level and getting better, perfecting my craft, and getting some big wins and creating more history for this program and doing it with my teammates and creating relationships with those guys. That's something that I really enjoy.
Yeah, creating those memories, creating those games within Oakland. I know that Oakland a lot of the times is pretty full, like the arena. I know there's a lot of people that are diehard Oakland fans. You're going to, again, be able to play Michigan, Purdue, Houston, Michigan State. You're going to get all these memories, and yeah, which I think is a really cool opportunity, really unique opportunity for you, and it sounds like it's something that you're super excited about to have the opportunity to play for a university like Oakland.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's a good opportunity.
So to wrap up this podcast, I want to end on with just overall, like, why should fans come watch you guys? Like, what should they expect when they come to a game at Oakland?
I think they should come because we're going to be competing at a high level. Um, we got guys that can play this year, and we're looking to do some special things similar to what teams of the past at Oakland have done and have accomplished, and we're looking to do the same thing. I think we got a good group of guys that wants to play hard and play together and play for each other, and that's what creates teams that are fun to watch. So that would be the reason I would come.
Yeah, that buy-in, kind of that team culture, willing to play for each other, playing fun basketball as well. I know you guys have a couple returners from last year. just having obviously Coach Kampe, having the other coaches there, having a really nice gymnasium. Also now having a new practice facility as well. I'm sure that's been really nice having the new practice facility. Never seen it in person, but I've seen pictures of it. It seems beautiful, honestly.
Yeah, it's nice. No, it's nice. Got big windows, lots of light. It's a good facility for us to get better in.
I was just going to say you probably, if I had to guess, spend a decent amount of time in that facility.
For sure, for sure. I like to shoot in there and in the arena because we have access to the arena. I like to shoot in both of those places on my own time. But yeah, definitely a lot of hours on the floor and a lot of hours in the locker room, hanging out with the guys too.
That's awesome. Love to hear that. But no, thank you again for joining, Isaac. I really appreciate it. Been a really fun conversation. Hopefully you had fun on the podcast. I really hope it was worth your time. One thing I always say to anyone that ever joins is if you ever want to come back on, would absolutely love to have you on. But truly, like I truly mean this. Good luck this year. Good luck the next couple of years at Oakland. Definitely will be cheering for you guys. Never gone to a game at Oakland before. Maybe we'll have to.
Yeah, you gotta come out.
Maybe we'll have to change that this year. But no, I truly appreciate you joining and really hope it was worth your time.
Absolutely, yeah, a lot of fun. Thank you for those good questions and good opportunity to share myself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, really appreciate you coming on. And that is a wrap to episode number 476. Thank you again to Isaac for joining and tune in to the next episode.